No, that means that they would have to have a higher standing than the Raptors. The Raptors are like the third best record in the league.
I was talking about the power rankings.
He talking about if Brandon Ingram was on a winning team, he'd be top 10 in MVP race.
If the Pelicans had a better record, they would. Brandon Ingram could be top 10.
No, especially if you're saying Zion will be there, then Zion would cut into the MVP votes that he would get.
No. I said Zion would be runaway rookie of the year.
No, but what I'm saying is, it's not like Brandon Ingram wouldn't receive enough credit for what he's doing.
Have we started the pod?
I forgot Damian Lillard. He'd probably be 10.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead.
As long as we understand that, right?
Go ahead and start.
Yeah, I forgot about Dame too. Jesus, and Embiid.
Welcome back, everybody.
Tough. Oh man, that's tough.
Welcome back. Okay, because you weren't gonna start it. So
I was gonna start. I'm gonna start it right now.
All right, go ahead, then, man.
Keep all this too, bro.
I bet.
What up, internets? Is the one and only legend of winning, aka Low. We back with another episode of the Peer to Peer podcast. On my left, we got two. Oh no,
esteemed gentlemen.
Esteemed, I like that.
You gotta get close to the mic.
My bad, you know what I'm saying?
And actually, you should be good, but no, yeah, you should, just
go ahead.
Just in case. Yeah, on my left, we got two, I guess, esteemed gentlemen.
There we go.
One is my my understudy agent. So,
don't call me that. Agent Zero, welcome to the podcast, everybody. If you guys are new, you haven't already, make sure to subscribe on YouTube. Drop a 5-star on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you listen to your podcast. I'm pretty sure I named all the platforms, so there's no other platform you could be listening on.
And Aux Court.
Always hit the Aux Court.
Word of mouth. That's it.
Of course. And in the middle today, we have the one and only Cinco.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome to the...
Sir.
Yes. I don't even remember where I met you, to be honest. I think it was Davis was shooting a video, and I remember seeing you at a mall.
Nope. The parking lot. I mean, not the parking lot. The
basketball court.
Downtown,
yeah, it was when Davis
downtown Atlanta at the park when you shot the video about the 2K questions.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I shot a video. I think it was a little bit before NBA 2K20 launched, and it was one of those like changed my mind videos. And we were just doing 2K topics, and yeah, you were one of the people there. And then I think I saw you again in Davis's NBA 2K20 in real life shoot. And then, yeah, so that we just kind of kept in touch. And you kind of have like an interesting story, which is why I thought like it'd be dope to have you on the podcast. So you don't feel like there's no topic you can't touch. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, it's very free-flowing conversation. So for the people who don't know who you are, just go ahead, briefly introduce yourself.
Well, I go by Cinco. Bobby Cinco is my channel name, but I go by Cinco for short. Professional basketball player. I played overseas the last... like 3.5 years, something like that. Had a couple NBA workouts after college. Went to Alabama State. Graduated from Alabama State in 2016. Worked out with the Pacers out of college, but ran into some
You said that.
Yeah. But just kind of like ran into some issues with bad agents, not really knowing how to get the job done, and a lot of ins and outs dealing with the wrong people. You know, fresh out of college, not really knowing nothing, not being for sure draft pick. You know, just going through the politics of everything. So had my little ups and downs between, like I said, working out with the Pacers, NBA G League, which actually 2016 was NBA D League, but went to Grand Rapids, which is the team of the Pistons. That really wasn't a good situation. Went to a team I was playing with like 3 guys who was averaging 20 a game. So it's like, so for people who don't know how that go, it's like when you go to a G League team, the NBA team actually can have players on their actual roster that they send down to the team to get reps. This is before the whole 2-way contract.
Oh, so they get all the shots.
So they'll come in.
Oh,
so
man.
it's like this. On my team, I had Jordan Crawford. People might know Jordan Crawford.
Yeah.
Jordan Crawford was averaging 20. The Pistons had Henry Ellison and Michael Benajay. Anytime they came down to play, Jordan Crawford would go from playing 35 minutes to 16 minutes.
For real?
Yeah.
So they cut Jordan Crawford's numbers?
Exactly. So you got Jordan Crawford averaging 20.
Yeah.
Going to 16 minutes, so Benajay can get 35 minutes, shoot all the shots, and then if it's an afternoon game, he'll make it back and play for the Pistons later that night.
Yeah. And I feel like that's part of the reason why the G League now is growing so much, and now every team wants their own like G League affiliate. And I know Toronto got one a few years ago because there was a whole bunch of stats that came out that said if you have a G League affiliate, then your growth and your development of the young guys is just way better. So I guess that's now what they use it for.
They do it to keep players in America.
Word?
Realistically.
Yeah.
A lot of players vote the G League and go overseas because you get more money for the most part. You can get more money overseas. And they really didn't up the G League pay until the 2K League players' salaries.
Yeah, because that was crazy. When the 2K League was first announced, they were making more money than the G League players.
Yeah.
So a lot of people saw a problem with that, so the NBA kind of felt like they had to
fix it.
raise that.
But do you think it works though? Because that was the interesting part when they were trying to rebrand the whole G League thing. Because I actually thought that the best way that they can keep, like you said, people in America, and also if they get rid of college to make that transition straight to the D League would probably be the best transition. However, you're not the only person I've heard that from, because I went to high school with somebody named Adam Smith, who played for Georgia Tech. Yeah, that's where I went to high school.
Yeah, I know Adam. Yeah,
he went to he went to Georgia Tech. Actually went to another school, then transferred to Georgia Tech. Then he started working out, and he worked out for the Charlotte Hornets and stuff like that.
Adam was a goddamn bucket in high school.
Straight bucket. That man scored 50 points in a game, and I was watching that live. That man dropped 50 points in a game, and it's not even like a regular 48-minute game. It's like only like 40 minutes in a high school game or something like that. Straight bucket. But yeah, so he was saying the same thing where he was getting frustrated because it wasn't really any clear path to like being in the NBA at that time, especially at that time, because this was around like 2014, even.
It's politics.
Yeah.
So it's really, if you go to a team, people that go to that boat the G League now, that's because they don't have an assurance by that team. So if you go to a team, if a team interested in you, a lot of people now politic for minutes and playing time.
What does that mean? Like, how do you lobby for minutes?
So depending on your resume from college, like me going to Alabama State is Division I, but it's low Division I when it's compared to like guys coming from Duke and North Carolina and shit like that.
Right.
So a guy from Duke who doesn't get drafted, 9 out of 10 would play more minutes than me.
Just because that's where he came from?
Because he went to Duke. So that even politics like that overseas as well. Like a guy could go overseas, and if they play for Duke, that can be a difference in $4,000 to $5,000 in your
So aside from like playing well when they put you in, is there any other way you can lobby to get more minutes aside from like the college that you came from once you get into the G League or you're playing in?
When you get there, it all depends on how you fit.
Word.
So a lot of people that don't follow the NBA or just basketball that well, they think everything is star player.
Right.
But you gotta realize star players get paid that 20, 30, 40 $1 million a year.
Facts.
It's guys that come in there and really just have to do one or two things really good, and they get 10, 11, 12.
Facts.
$million a year. Think about Andre Roberson for OKC. Can't shoot the ball to save his life, but he plays defense. $10 million a year.
It's true.
So what type of player were you if you had to like?
If I was to be on the NBA team right now, I would be like OG Anunoby.
Words.
I would be like
90
that.
open shot three.
Yeah.
And he just went for a career high in the last game, the game before the Brooklyn Nets. He just had dropped like 28 career high.
I would be that kind of guy. I would be the guy they put on the court, play defense, be athletic, rebound, catch tip dunks, run the floor, and shoot open threes.
So I know you, because I watch your Instagram stories. I know you're still training. Yeah. So what does that process look like? What do you do like on a day to day?
Well, now since I'm turning down offers to go overseas because I actually want to go to the league this year, I wake up like 8 a.m., get to the gym, lift like an hour, probably work out with Abe Millsap, which is Paul Millsap's younger brother, the youngest brother. We train about an hour, 15 minutes, then play pickup. A lot of pro guys that's not in the league, like NBA free agents or just other guys that's not overseas yet that's still here, we'll play pickup at Core 4. So it's like my day is anywhere from 3 to 5 hours in the gym.
Jeez.
And then I come home and work on content for YouTube. So my days is around like Saturday and Sunday, the only days I don't go to the gym.
That's really dope. I like hearing stories like that because it's so competitive. Because I feel like on YouTube now that there's an algorithm, there's ways to game the system. But as a basketball player, there's no, like, you could try and you get maybe so far, but if you're not good enough, then you're just not gonna make it. Well, maybe injuries, I guess, is like the only asterisk.
But like to the NBA,
yeah, I feel like you have a lot of control over. No, that's cap.
You get it's
right because they have to have like a scout. The scouts, like when a scout pulls up, does everybody like?
It could be a scout, but it's really sometimes it's about connections as well.
True.
Like it's guys that aren't good. It's guys that
are on
fucking
teams.
suck.
Oh yeah,
and it's like
I know some of them.
Yeah, and it's like how did you make it to the NBA? But my personal experiences, I've heard things of like, okay, this general manager may owe this agent a favor, and since he owes this agent a favor for whatever he did back in the day, that can get a guy that's probably not so good on a summer league roster. And then it's just up to them to kind of perform. And even some guys that get to summer league, they may make it to the G League. Now you just got to perform. But it's other routes like Jonathan Simmons, if y'all never heard that name.
Yeah. What happened to him? I haven't heard about him in like a year.
He plays for Orlando now.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember he used to play for Spurs, I think.
But Jonathan Simmons went to a open G League tryout. paid $150, impressed the general manager at the tryout,
Right.
and then played for the Spurs G League team for I think 1 or 2 years before actually signing to the Spurs. So that's another way you can lobby to get in there, but the chances of that are kind of slim because some guys will go there with a known name. Some guys will go there and don't nobody know you from Adam. But you go in there, and if you kill, and you really, when I say kill, it's hard to kill in a group of 100 people where at least 87 of those people don't play basketball.
Word.
So it's like, literally, so you're on the court and you have to keep your composure. It's like putting you in a bad situation to fail.
Word.
And you just have to capitalize on it. So Jonathan Simmons got lucky.
Yeah, I remember seeing him. I think in summer league, he played for the Spurs, right? Am I thinking of the right guy?
Used to,
yeah. And he played really well. And same with Bryn Forbes. He was, I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly, but he killed it in summer league, and now he's getting good minutes.
I actually know that the part you talking about too, where it's just like a group of, because I didn't, you know, it's because I looked up the process as well. And it's just like they just get like a group of dudes and they just put y'all in the gym.
I'll break it down to you. I'll break it down in the simplest terms. For people watching this podcast, I'm pretty sure y'all know a little bit about the 2K community. So I'll put this in perspective. You have guys like me who can actually hoop, a couple of us. You may have a couple, if anybody knows Joe Knows, you may have a couple of Joe Knows. You may have a couple of Duke Dennis, and everybody else is like Flight. And you have to deal with that. No, legit, and you have to. What if you have
too many Flights on your team?
The chances of making it to that last 16 that get cut that they want to see play full court and then one-on-one is slim.
Word. So do you so if I'm in a situation like that, I'd focus more of my energy on like networking then, because it's like you could only perform so well if your point guard is not hitting you open or screens being set aren't being valid. Like you could only do so much. It's a team sport. I just try and figure out a way to like.
But networking in that situation is different. NBA teams won't talk to you directly unless you're
So who's there like while you guys are doing those runs? Scouts?
When you go to Open G League tryouts,
yeah,
the general manager of the G League team is there, the assistant general manager, and probably all the assistant coaches.
Word.
And the head coach.
Okay, so, and I'm assuming
the general manager of the G League team is normally the assistant GM for the NBA team.
Yeah.
That's normally who it is.
Okay.
So, kind of how that works.
But I've seen the whole process. I think it was actually on. I think Complex had somebody just go in and try it out, and it's just like a group of dudes, and it's just like he said, noticeably, like you can just watch it and noticeably tell like they don't really play like that.
Imagine trying to get into your bag and they're double teaming you, and you have to pass it to Flight, and you have to pray that he makes a good basketball play.
But if you're an educated basketball observer, then you would know that, all right, so if you're getting double teamed, you're passing it out. That's a smart move. They don't expect you, I'm assuming, to like split a double team or.
That's not really enough to make a difference.
Right. So you can't show off what you're capable of.
It's not really enough. You have to literally stand out and make it to that last 16. Where that last.
So how many people are there in total?
It depends. When
hundreds?
I went to one in Orlando.
Is it?
Yeah, I went to I went to one in Orlando. In Orlando was 97 in Orlando, and I did one in Atlanta. The Atlanta one was like 108.
When I say literally just a group of dudes in an open gym, it's
so can I pay money and show up?
Yes.
Oh, that's a banger!
I just said the dude on Complex. They just started.
Okay, so I figured it was like an athlete or something.
No.
If they let me do it. Oh, no, I don't want to spoil people's fucking dreams and shit, though, but it would be a dope video for me to just show up and shoot bricks. Actually, I probably wouldn't shoot anything.
It would be terrible.
Yeah.
It'd be bad. Like, it's guys like that, though, that show up.
I can imagine.
Like, you have no business even thinking.
So why isn't there a way to filter out those people so that they can focus on the good talent?
The Open G League tryout is just that nobody left behind, everybody gets a chance type of shit.
Oh, okay. So they want to make it seem like it's an open fair.
Realistically, the money's probably just going to the organization. They know good and damn well that they're not.
But even if it's like 100 people, $150, that's $15,000 for tryouts. I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Do that again.
Did I do math wrong?
Yeah, do that again. Oh, okay. Do that one more time.
Is it $1,500? It's $100, and 100 people go. Let's move on to the next segment.
Look, all I know is because it's money, but like you said, just kind of weeding people out. Yeah, I know that shit crazy. But what I want to know is, because I always want to ask somebody that's like,
that's wild.
What is something that people don't really understand or recognize when it comes to trying to play at that next level that people probably just consistently overlook?
It's more mental than physical.
Okay.
So you can be the best athlete in the world, but if you don't understand the NBA game, you won't see the floor.
Word.
If you don't understand reads, you won't see it.
How do you feel about, because I hear this a lot from a lot of people, and it's probably true for a certain amount of them. A lot of people is like, man, I could have made it here had I not got injured. And I hear that across a lot of different sports. And sure, injuries do hold people back, but I can't imagine you went through your whole career without any injuries, right?
Yeah, I was hurt at the worst times. I actually, in 2020, so 2018, around August time, I did mini camp here with the Denver Nuggets. It was like a little mini camp. You know, Paul invited a lot of the players out. Only players that wasn't here was like Jokic and Torrey Craig. Michael Porter Jr. was still hurt. So the rest of the team was here. Word. And I literally was in the middle of recovery from a groin injury that had me out for a month. So I didn't play for a month. I was just in the gym, getting up shots, doing rehab, and I was on my final stage of like fully recovering.
Right.
And Paul called me like, the Nuggets is coming. Do you want to play pickup?
Oh, man.
All this stuff. So I got some, little shots, wrapped it up, and played. It was just like, it could have been a break.
Right.
You know what I'm saying, for me? But it went okay. But I know at 100% healthy, it would have been a totally different story. So even the same thing like with the Hawks, like I sprained my ankle in like 2017. I tore like three ligaments in my ankle. And that same exact day that I sprained my ankle, I got a phone call from one of my old trainers asking me did I want to go work out for the Hawks. So it was like, injuries can go back and set you back, but you just got to keep pushing, man.
My math was right, by the way. Yeah, you made me sound in my mind. I'm like, I just finished brainstorming, and when I do creative shit for a few hours, my brain is fried. So I was like, man, I'm really bugging today's podcast.
So how tall are you?
6'7".
6'7". Okay.
That's dope. I feel like with what you do, and just generally speaking in business, in life, you catch that?
Yeah, I caught it.
Everyone else caught it too. Fuck. I feel like you kind of have to be really, really, really good at what you do. Or, yes, you have to be really, really good at what you do. But you also kind of have to get lucky so that your skill lines up. And I feel like the better you get at what you do, the more opportunities you're going to have for the luck to line up so you make it in, right? Even on like YouTube, I was about to quit. I was very close to quitting. It was on my mind very consistently before literally right when I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need to get a full-time job that pays and I can't do YouTube, whatever. And then it clicked for me and I had a video blow up and I just did more and more of that. And then it kind of just picked up for me. I hear a lot of stories of people even playing professional sports where like they just met the right person. They were at the right run and the scout saw them and like
That's kind of how it was for me. A couple years ago, I was working out on the south side of Atlanta at this place called Burdette. I had a trainer named Mark Hughes. So Mark got me like a little bit out of college, and I worked out with Mark for a good amount of time. And Abe and his uncle, D'Angelo Simmons, who was actually Paul Millsap's agent. Word. So Core 4 is a whole family business. So it's 4 brothers. Paul being...
what is Core 4 for the people?
Core 4 is a NBA state-of-the-art facility here in Atlanta.
Oh, is that the one I see on your stories?
Yeah, but they have like they got a high school team and a prep school team too.
Okay.
So they run everything out of their facility.
Wait, how do you have a high school team? Is it a school?
It's like one of those you ever heard of like IMG? Like Academy? None of those?
Oh, okay. Basketball
like
Academy.
IMG Academy.
Okay.
It's like that. But they have a high school team and they have a prep school team.
Word.
So IMG would be like a prep school version. So Core 4 has both sides.
Tough, okay.
And so for me, I was at Burdette, and Abe and D'Angelo was actually at the run while we were playing pickup. And I just happened to sit down, was getting some water in between games and stuff, and Abe was talking to me. And at the time, I had signed to go to Israel, and this was 2017. They actually wanted me to come and work out with Abe back in 2017 to try to get me to go in the summer league. But once you sign to go overseas, like you can't really break that contract. So like the year that Paul was a free agent, when he signed that 3-year, $90 million to the Nuggets,
right?
I could have lobbied and politicked my way into summer league on that. Like D'Angelo calls the Nuggets like, "Hey, Paul will come to Denver if you get Bobby in summer league," type thing. So, but it was kind of like a whole, I'm not saying that's what would have happened, but it's potentially something like that would have happened. So ever since then, I've just been working out with Abe. lobbying and politicking with them, trying to get places.
Is that like mentally exhausting? Because I feel like it would be, because at a certain point you're like, I don't know when the break is going to be, and it might be right around the corner, or it could be years away.
So all last year, 2019, I probably touched the basketball 20 times.
Word.
So I went to Armenia was the last country I went to. I went in 2018 in like November. I stayed for a month and a half. One of the worst situations I had ever.
What is Armenia? I've never heard of that.
It's where the Kardashians is from.
Oh,
I never knew that either until I got there.
Because they're Armenian, yeah.
Oh,
no, they are what you call the people from there is Armenian.
Oh, okay.
So Armenia, okay.
So
I'm learning something new every day. All right.
It's like an hour flight from Russia. So that's the only thing I know.
Oh, that's very far.
And so so I'm there, and it was like the worst experience ever. So when I came home, I'm like, I don't know if this, everything's not going right. And this was the same year when I was, hurt and doing all that extra stuff. So I'm like, I don't think this is going right. So I literally had to take a mental break from basketball because I was going into a stage of depression not being in the NBA.
Word.
And it was pissing me off. So it's like, I don't want to go overseas no more. Like, I really want to go either to the NBA or the G League, where I'm in front of executives to stay in America. Now, unless I'm going to like the NBL where LaMelo Ball was just at, or like the Euro League or something like that. If it's something like that, I'll go, because I know I can make my way from there to the NBA. But if it's not,
would you see those places as like an end goal for you? Like if you got like could you see yourself finishing your career in the Euro League or in Australia?
Yeah, if it's a league like that, if it's Euro League or the top league in Australia where LaMelo was at, I could do that.
So how is that different? So like right now you've been talking a lot about like trying to find your way onto a summer league roster just so you could prove yourself. So what would that process look like if you wanted to be on a Euro League team?
Well, Euro League, that comes with politics. They're either ex-NBA players, or you've built a decent enough resume playing in Europe for them to look at you and say that you're good enough to play in the Euro League.
Word.
Or you, like one guy I know, he went from high major D1 Virginia Tech, that's ACC. He went from Virginia Tech, played in Israel for a year, and killed in Israel, and then signed a 3-year deal in the Euro League. So it's like, if you go somewhere that's respected and you kill, Euro League will come and sign you. And Euro League isn't cheap money. Like, it's the NBA of overseas, and a lot of that money is tax free. I think you don't get taxed until it's like.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think it's like until you hit like 850,000. That's when you start getting taxed. I might be wrong.
I gotta go to Europe.
I don't know if it's that much, but that's why like a lot of WNBA players go overseas and play as well, because they don't really get paid that much.
WNBA players make more money overseas than they do.
So why would they be here?
Because they
WNBA season is.
Oh, is it
basically summertime season?
Word. So I worked at a team that was in the Canadian Basketball League. So I learned a little bit about just like one of the alternate leagues that aren't nearly as big, and that's usually how it works. So those alternate leagues will schedule their season so that it's on the off season of leagues they think is going to contradict where a lot of their players are coming from.
The Canadian League don't care.
What do you mean?
Because they're in the same realm as the G League. Canadian League's going on right now, and G League's going on right now. So I don't know when Canadian League ends, but I know G League, their finals is in April. So it just depends.
Yeah, and so I guess it depending on the team. I know like sometimes our team in the Canadian Basketball League would just like bus places, and I couldn't imagine like a professional team having a bus, but that makes sense because
the G League will.
The G League will bus too?
The G League will bus.
So what does that look like?
They don't fly everywhere.
So they fly like maybe if it's over a 6-hour bus.
If it's like, if you gotta go from like Detroit to LA,
you'll fly. Because that'd be wild.
But if you're going from like Detroit to Atlanta, it's possible you might bus. That's only like 11 hours, 10, 11 hours, something like that.
Word. Because I was
only 10, 11 hours.
It may be 14.
I can imagine if you're on a losing team, those long bus rides back are brutal. Man, when I was interning at our men's soccer team at university, they had a horrible record. So there would be some times where they'd be coming back on the bus, and they just have like existential questions about what they're doing with their lives. I'd be like, man, fuck soccer. All we do is run. And there was a game where they lost like 8-1 or something. I just sat there and watched it happen, and they had to like a 3-hour bus ride back. That had to be brutal.
The worst shit in college was when you come back from a trip. So we used to bus when we went to go play like Texas Southern and Prairie View. That's in Houston.
Yeah.
So we would go from Alabama, from Montgomery to Houston. And that's like a 10-hour bus ride, 10 to 12. But we would take like the sleeper buses with the TV and shit in the back.
Oh, word.
But when we get back to Alabama, we'd normally get back like 6 a.m. So coach would be like, all right, guys, we back. No practice today, but y'all better make it to y'all 8:30 a.m. classes. Like, what the fuck? I'm not going to class. Like, we just got back. I'm not going to nobody class. It's not happening.
So how's the closest you've been to actually making an NBA roster? Was that the story where you were saying where you got injured and you almost was able to kind of finagle your way in?
The closest I've been in front of NBA was when I actually went to Grand Rapids.
Okay.
And so when that was in 2016. And that was...
How long you been doing this?
I graduated May of 2016. And then I had the little Pacers workout in like June.
Okay.
Then I went to Grand Rapids in December. Okay. So ever since like then was going in the full circle.
Okay.
So
I can imagine, man. Like, luckily for me, I was in school while I did YouTube, so it wasn't like I was losing anything. Well, I had to sacrifice a whole bunch of fun stuff, but it wasn't like people were expecting me to have a job and money. I was just gathering debt. So I was in a situation where I had a little bit of time to figure things out. But for you, I can imagine, like, the patience, like, it has to be tough to, like...
It's different because I'm not in school, so I balance...
Is that why you started YouTube?
Yeah. So the story on YouTube is... When I left Israel in 2017, I went to, where did I go? Slovakia after that. So I was in Israel from August to November of 2017.
Word.
Then I went to Slovakia in December, stayed there for a month and a half. They released me. Now I'm averaging like 15.6 rebounds, whatever. This is the best league in Slovakia.
Tough.
They released me because they tell me that the Slovak kid that I was starting over was 19, played on their under 19 national team, and I was stunting his growth as a player.
Jeez.
And they let me go. So that's the type of shit you deal with playing overseas. So when they let me go, I went to Austria, and while I was in Austria, I looked up. I was playing 2K, 2K18. We're not gonna speak on that game, but I was playing it. And I was looking for something to do, and I YouTubed it. So when I YouTubed it, the first video I saw was like King Sean, like a My Career video or something.
Yeah.
And then I seen my boy YG the Beast, a My Career video. And I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at?
Right.
So then I'm talking to my boy as I'm looking at this, and he was like, bro, people get paid to do that shit? And I'm like, stop fucking with me. So I started looking up, trying to figure out how to get paid from YouTube, and I'm like, it's really people out here playing 2K and getting paid, and I'm doing this shit for free. So I'm like, and I play basketball. I feel like I know what I'm doing. So let me, kind of figure it out. So I went through the whole little process. I'm over here on Google figuring out how people record videos and all of that shit. Now, I started YouTube terribly.
Everybody does.
My first video, I think I probably started the worst, bro.
Nah, you gotta see my first video. It was brutal.
No. Some of the videos we all watch.
I started in March of 2018. And my very first video was the very first, prelude shit of 2018.
What does that mean? Like, you just recorded yourself?
The prelude. I went through the prelude in March. So think about that.
Nah, trust me.
That's not still worse.
It gets worse than that.
I didn't know no better back then.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I'm like, so I did it. So realistically, when people ask me how long I've been doing YouTube, I tell them really just 2K19. Because 2K18, I wasn't consistent. I probably posted 25 videos from March of 2018 to when 2K19 dropped.
You know what? I like that you did that, because a lot of people will cap and be like, how long you been doing YouTube? 4 years, but they've been uploading, they go disappear for 6 months, and so they'll cap about how long they've been doing it just to impress people. I'm like, I've been doing this shit for a minute. But I respect that a lot. You know what? That's actually what I liked about you when I first met you. I remember when we were at, I think it was Linux together.
Yeah, we went to Linux after we left the park.
Yeah. So we went to Linux, and I'm very selective about the people that I decide to chill with.
Me too.
So I was like, man, I don't even know about the Cinco character. I don't know him at all. But then when I went home that night, you were telling me how you were grinding, etc. But I was like, man, I hear that shit from everybody, so I really want to see it. I went to your channel, and you were fucking daily uploading. Yeah. And then I started clicking on your videos, and I was like, he was really grinding. Yeah. The amount of people that tell me they're grinding, and then the amount of people that are actually grinding, it's very
slim.
Big difference.
It's slim, yeah.
So then I was like, okay, I'm gonna fuck with him then, because I only like people that really work hard in my circle, because then it makes me want to work hard.
Right.
And so even with this health shit, now, me, Lee, Davis, Peter, even Lo, sometimes we'll all go to the gym, and all of us have been getting healthier, Phantom, we've been losing weight. So it's when you surround yourself with the kind of people that you know is going to push you in the right direction, then you're valid. So when I checked up on your shit, I was like, oh, this is definitely a guy I can get along with.
That was the thing for me too, because when I first, literally, YG the Beast was the first person who actually helped me with YouTube shit.
Word.
So when I didn't know anything, I reached out, I reached out to Sean first, but now that I know Sean personally, I understand like Sean gets blown up a lot by people. Like I'm pretty sure you do too. So it's hard for you. Like if people was to reach out for advice, it's easy for you to miss that shit, especially if it's like DMs and stuff. And so like hitting up YG, he would give me tips, and he really like helped me out to this point where it was like he streamed. And at the time, you know, YG plays both live and 2K. Word. So at the time, it was like he's streaming NBA live, and he's like, you know, I'm streaming tonight. If you want to play, you know, hit me up. So I'm in the party playing, you know, just building relationships and stuff, and then learning at the same time. Because I feel like it all goes hand to hand. YouTube, basketball, like anybody that's under me in a different level, I always try to give back to people when it comes to the game of basketball as well. So it's like when I go that and I put my mind towards something like YouTube, I'm grinding this shit up. I don't daily upload now just because.
You know what? Sorry to cut you off, but you're right. It is very hard. Like every month, I tell myself like the first 15 days I'm uploading every day. It never happens. I always do worse than I think I'm gonna do.
Exactly.
But you get closer and closer to it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder why you don't do like more in real life basketball stuff. Not just 1v1s, but like the way Destroying does football. I feel like you can do the same thing because not only do you have the skill to. So he
football.
He played professionally. No, sorry, not professionally. Amateur in college, and he actually got banned by the NCAA because he had a YouTube channel. He was making money, and so they're like, you can't make money.
That's self-employed though. That's why I hate the NCAA.
Yeah, so the NCAA banned him, but he got so much publicity off it. His YouTube channel started blowing up. I didn't hear about him for like 8, 9 more months, and then one of his videos popped up on my homepage. Now he's pulling millions of views, and he's really creative with his titles. He makes great content, and you'll see him like. You'll see him have people like Cam Newton on. He had a couple videos with Anthony Brown. He's actually in a beef with Anthony Brown as we speak. But it's like he does that for football. So I was thinking like I would never be able to do that for basketball just because I'm not actually talented at playing basketball. Right. But because you are, that could literally be your lane. Even if you use 2K as like a jumping point. That would be something
that I would have to, like everything else, research it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like kind of learn the ins and out of what grasp people attention for that type of shit.
You know who's doing it in basketball right now? Who's that white kid with the crazy handles? He did a couple of videos with 2Hype.
But he's not
Davis' friend.
Yeah, I know, but he's not really.
What's his name? Do you know his name?
No. But
I'm blanking.
You talking about the crazy handles? He did like the crazy layups and stuff like that.
360
T-Jazz?
Yeah, T-Jazz. So
but
the type of videos he be doing, the professor.
Though. He doesn't do like what D-Storm does.
Yeah, that's not similar content.
Yeah, no, it's not. But it's kind of, it means IRL.
It's in the same niche though. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's IRL, but it's not like what D-Storm does is way more interesting, and it's.
You mean Destroying?
I mean Destroying.
Because D-Storm.
Yeah, not
separate guy.
Destroying, yeah. What he does is way more interesting and introspective, and trying to just understanding
Facts.
how football works and stuff like that, the in and outs of it, which is what I. Even as like an NBA YouTuber, something I want to just gauge and get an understanding from, which is why I asked you about like how certain aspects of basketball people don't thoroughly understand, because I do believe there's a level of it that people just can't grasp.
Well, for me, what I try to do is not to make this sound like a bad way, but a lot of people that play 2K don't understand basketball.
Of course,
we don't.
So it's only a couple of guys, like including YouTubers. It's only a couple of guys that I really feel like genuinely understand the game of basketball.
Word.
So like Joe Knows is one that I can really say he understands the game.
You're not
of
a 2K
basketball.
player. Stop playing
Okay. I thought you talking about
I'm saying like a full 2K YouTuber.
Oh, okay.
Like a lot of them guys, I don't really think they understand basketball. So for me, when I play. Like, yeah, I play to entertain, but I also try to play to give my viewers and my subscribers a better understanding
I feel you on that.
Of the game as well. Like, even though I don't really play a lot of Pro-Am, I do a lot of 3v3, but a lot of the principles that you do in 3v3 Park, you can transfer those to
That's a fact,
5v5.
You should play more Prime, though. It's definitely more fun.
No, listen.
It is.
So 5v5 especially? Listen, this year, I did waste a little bit of time on uploading because I was doing the whole, like, 2K League and Pro-Am stuff.
Oh, you trying to go for the league?
The Combine ran me rugged.
I can imagine, man.
Listen,
they be having horrible people in the Combine, and now you have to prove yourself.
There we go. So look, the 2K League Combine, right, is like going to an Open G League workout.
Exactly.
So that's
perfect analogy.
So that's what it is. So when I'm in the 2K League Combine, it's like, okay, first of all, I'm really grinding it, so I'm waking my ass up at 3 a.m. trying to hit these 4 a.m. windows sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm playing with guys that's not on the mic, Point guards,
trying to put up every shot, bro.
Point guards are loading up on number 17. Number 17 was a pure fucking slasher.
Let's get it.
At point guard.
And some of the point guards only pass when they see an assist. They will not pass to you if it's another pass coming up.
I'm talking about rim running and not on the mic.
Paint matching,
not guarding.
all of that.
So I'm like, no, I can't. It was that shit was making my head
Okay,
hurt.
That makes a lot of sense for everybody watching and for me now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think most people understood it. But
I know, but now it really connected for everybody.
but I still feel like there's a certain aspect of basketball that can't really translate to 2K. Because, 2K, at the end of the day, you're still restricted off of what you can or can't do based off the animations that they more or less give you. And I understand you understand concepts of spacing and making sure you understand backdoor cuts and properly reading and understanding.
Yeah, it's not so much
personnel.
animation. It's more so what goes on the court.
Yeah.
Like animations, we can't stop.
Exactly.
But as long as you're able to watch a video of mine and grasp proper rotations and proper, offensive movements, proper spacing and things like that, then I feel like, I got something accomplished. Because I got my videos vary. I have certain people that I play with that we, like Sean and Juice Man. I play with them. We talk shit and we play the game. I play with somebody else like my boy Mindframe and somebody else. We're more.
When was the last time you heard that name? Wow, it's been a minute.
We're more like locked in, like calling rotations, calling switches, calling, it's different. Yeah. So
shout out to my friend.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. That was a throwback.
Yeah, that's my boy, man.
Yeah, that wasn't a throwback. But yeah, but my frame is good though. But going back to what Adrian was saying, I still feel like there is a hole that could be filled because the thing about
100%. And right now, Too Hype is doing a lot of it with their challenges and stuff. But, and I feel like Chris might have the potential to fill it, but he hasn't really went in that direction just yet.
Of the IRL basketball.
Yeah, but Destroying's whole end goal, because he has an end goal, is he wants to make it into NFL. Honestly, I don't think he wants that. I think he wants to continue making content on YouTube because he stands to make more money than to most likely sit on a bench of an NFL team. Or even if he's starting as a kicker, it's very difficult. You make a lot more money on YouTube. You have a lot more clout, and then that's going to last a lot longer than whatever stint you're going to have in the NFL. But that's his end goal. So, if your goal is to make it into the NBA or whatever league, then make that your mission and make people aware of that. But then you could train with this player and then do this crazy drill and then pull up to this #1 ranked high school player and then play this. And the content ideas is endless.
That would probably be something that off of the podcast, we would sit down and construct. Literally, the only thing I've actually sat down and thought about a video that I wanted to do. I'm giving y'all this because y'all may get this soon.
They're gonna steal it.
No, they can't.
They can't.
Oh, so you're the only
park dunks. Going to the gym.
There's one athlete watching us right now writing this shit down.
They're gonna do some of these park dunks. No. I can't even do all the park dunks.
Who's the person I just saw? Oh, that was Chris. Did a reverse windmill.
But see, that's the reason why it's good content because literally only one or two people can do it. That's why it's good content.
Word, I agree.
So I feel like that a video. I just gotta. When I'm not too tired from working out, I can get in there.
Worked out for 4 or 5 hours.
Knock that out.
Crazy. But I've been trying to get into lifting weights. Right now, I'm just doing a lot of cardio, doing 10,000 steps. But that's really dope. Yeah, I'm gonna have to start working out with you sometimes. I go to.
It's intense.
I'm not gonna say what gym I go to, but people on Instagram. People on Instagram know already.
You sure?
Anyway,
are you sure?
Okay,
Yes, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do that.
All right. But yeah, we're gonna have to go for sure. I suck, but we have a lot of fun sucking, and it's usually a group of us, 5, 6 of us pull up. It's really a good time.
I'm just tell you right now, I don't want to play with somebody who's semi-pro. I don't want to do that.
I mean, he's not gonna be. He might dunk on you. Just move out the way.
Nah. That's what most pro guys do. They move out the way. So.
That's tough.
There's pro guys that go to the gym that I go to too. Dave was pointing them out to me because he plays with some of them in scrims and stuff. He's like, yo, that guy right there, he plays for the European team.
Davis called me and was like, Davis called me one time. Y'all went to the gym. He called me. He's like, yo, Joe Johnson was up here. You should try to 1v1 Joe Johnson.
Word?
And I'm like, Davis, listen, I know Joe Johnson. He's not gonna 1v1. Joe is that guy that these guys go to the gym and get their work.
Word.
So it's it's a little harder to actually make content with actual pro NBA.
That's very hard.
And it would have to be some shit like
if they're on a team, you got to deal with insurance and shit too. So it's not even just like their
not
time.
really that. It's their time.
It's their time.
It's more so their time.
But it is. But I'm telling you, it's all because I've been close to getting videos with NBA players. This company's like, oh, we might be able to get you a video with this person. I'm like, what? And they're like, sorry, the team had this and this came up and the insurance this.
See, that's because you went through a company. I'm talking about direct line walking of talking to them. And it's like,
word, okay, I see that.
Joe Johnson's not gonna be like, my insurance ain't gonna let me do a 1v1 on Tuesdays.
You'll have to catch them like so.
Yeah,
if you've probably seen it, Rico Hines, like basketball runs, they got them on YouTube. So it'll have to be something where
they do that.
I got a cameraman that'll come to court for in the summertime when all the NBA guys are here and they recording the pickup, and then after pickup, if players still feel like playing 1-on-1, they'll do that. Get some footage like that. But it would never be a situation where like Joe Johnson's in the gym that y'all are at working out, and I try to get Joe after a workout.
But when Mike Scott, it was Mike Scott, Dennis Schroeder, and it was like a few of them. I can't remember the other Atlanta Hawk.
Mike Scott work out at Core 4.
Yeah, I know. I've seen like a few of them just work out just to work out. So yeah, I'm pretty sure you probably could, but yeah, it's more so about time, especially with the players who not still in the NBA and they trying to get back in it and they're just trying to work out and get their reps in for that day. They ain't really got time to like be, I'll catch up.
These guys come in, get that work in, man, get treatment and get the hell on.
Get on.
Word. Yeah. I can imagine how busy their lives are. Because I feel like my life is really busy, but sometimes I had to sit back and remind myself, like, I'm not like an NBA player. I'm not Jeff Bezos. Like, because those guys literally will have, I feel like NBA players might have time, but generally speaking, even if they had time, they most definitely don't want to spend it doing some shit like
guys like that have assistants.
Assistants?
Have assistants.
Well, I know some YouTubers with assistants.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So guys like that, a lot they handle. I'm pretty sure they
have time and they still have assistants.
Yeah, they handle a lot of shit, but they have assistants.
Word. I was thinking about getting an assistant, but then I was like, do I need to do that? No, I don't need that shit. So I'm just gonna handle it
realistically,
myself.
If you wanted an assistant, just throw Waleed a couple extra dollars.
No, Waleed would hate that. Waleed hates the word assistant. If you just go there and call him my assistant one time, he's gonna be like, he's gonna hate you. He's gonna hate you.
You don't even have to say assistant. Just say you're paying for assistant services.
No, he still hate that. You don't know Waleed.
Like Lonzo Ball. Think about it. When the last time y'all ever seen Lonzo Ball drive his own car?
I would want to drive my car.
No, that's really excessive.
Yeah,
if
I'm just saying,
was
just think about it.
him,
I'm saying,
that would be outrageous.
But I'm saying, think about it. Like Lonzo
wouldn't be having.
Like Lonzo's boy Demo drives his car.
No,
sets up his meetings.
Yeah. No,
Waleed wouldn't.
I feel like the only time I would need that is like I'm going in a direction where a lot of the videos that I want to make in the future take more time, and so to set those up is like I had to know somebody and I have to book this place and then I have to get this lined up and I might need to rent these, and so maybe in a situation like that it might make sense to have an assistant, but for now I feel like it'd be wildly overkill. But I know some YouTubers with assistants. I just feel like it's not an expense that anybody like at my level needs. Yeah, maybe in like a few more levels,
True. But going back to the basketball tip, do you think what do you think is the underlying theme to why you're being held back outside of like outside entities? Is it like something you feel like you can work on, and do you believe like the way that the NBA, the trajectory of the league has changed, has kind of held you back too? Because I kind of feel like that's part of the reason why Adam hasn't made it in the league yet.
Well, for me, I had a lot of learning to do. Mm-hmm. So when you're in college and you're the best player on a certain team, unless you're like a Kentucky where it's 5 or 6 best players on the team, and then you figure out what type of player you're going to be in that type of system, it's different. Where at Alabama State, I had the ultimate green light. I damn near can shoot with every shot I wanted to shoot, whether it was a good or a bad shot, almost.
You feel like you would have benefited more from going to a college where you got less minutes then?
I would have benefited more going to a college where I was taught the game of basketball a little better. So Alabama State, my coach at Alabama State would be a marvelous coach for like overseas EuroLeague type of stuff. But as far as learning the NBA game, it's a little different. Playing defense is different than how we played in college.
Right.
And I think NCAA needs to do what they did for the females, transfer the rules like the NBA. Women's college basketball has WNBA rules now.
Oh, word? I always wondered why the college 3 is closer.
Well, they just put it. They moved it back to overseas distance.
Oh, word?
But they didn't move it back to NBA distance.
Like college athletes, it's not like they're struggling. They don't have enough power to put up that shot. They all shoot from there anyway. If you told any person on a Division I team that could shoot threes at the college 3 to step back and shoot from NBA 3, I don't think their percentage is going to plummet. Well, actually, it might. It might. But I still think they're grown enough to do that the professional thing now.
I mean, if you're practicing it more, then you'll be more efficient at it.
Word.
So guys, like when you practice in college, most college coaches, unless you're like the damn Jimmer Fredettes or the Steph Currys of the world, tell you to shoot on the line.
On the college.
So like you got to think about it. Lonzo Ball shot a couple of threes from way behind the line in college, but his first year as an NBA rookie, his 3-point percentage was terrible.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, exactly.
But that might also be like mental. I always feel like I first thing I think of was like, oh, just mentally, he had a lot of pressure because the whole LeVar Ball family situation, big baller brand, and then he had all these expectations because Magic Johnson was hyping him up. So generally speaking, if someone joins the NBA, I always think if they're not performing well,
I don't think it was his mental. He wasn't healthy.
You mean just physically?
And his shot mechanics.
His shot mechanics were bad.
They were definitely goofy. But we've seen people with goofy shot mechanics shoot consistently good.
I think mentally, I think it was a part of it, but I think there was a lot of other factors that.
I think it was more his body. He wasn't healthy, and his shot mechanics was off. That's all I think. Because now he's healthy, and he has good shot mechanics, and he's playing pretty good basketball.
Really
no, even the shoes, because he even said recently, like,
the shoes was terrible.
After every quarter, he had to switch his shoes with his brand.
That's crazy.
So I think it was way more factors than the mental from it.
But like you were saying, just for me, I just felt like it was learning.
Yeah,
I didn't really understand the NBA game that well, and I felt like coming out of college, since I was the man, I wanted to be that $20 million man. Whereas now I've come to realize, like, get your foot in there. Get in there, be that $2-3 million man like Jimmy Butler was, and then work your way into being that 20-30.
Jimmy Butler's a good example, man.
$1 million person. So really just get on a team, know what your role is on a team, but that's also going to come with a trainer that you have. Like working out with Abe, he's helped me understand if I was on an NBA team, this is what they would have.
Word. And so that's kind of what I'm realizing now. I feel like the training staff plays a way, like just the developmental coaches, shooting coaches, etc., plays such a huge role. Because there's no reason a team like Toronto should be doing as well as they're doing if their coaching staff wasn't fucking incredible. Because it's like Terrence Davis, and fucking OG Anunoby is stepping up. It's like random people that you would not have thought of was going to step up is stepping up.
Terrence Davis is a rookie, right?
I believe so.
I think the Raptors are playing good because Kawhi low managed so much last year that they had so many games. They had so many games to play with.
But it's new people stepping up this year though, like Boucher out of nowhere. You wouldn't have thought that. OG just had a career high.
But I don't think OG and Siakam would have taken the leaps that they did this year if it wasn't.
I could see that. Yeah,
Kawhi missing those games and low managing, and it gave the responsibility to other players for them to continue to develop.
Word.
But again, I agree. It has a lot to do with coaching. But I also feel like no shots at LeBron. But I think that's part of why that whole LeBron situation don't really work as well for younger players and they don't develop because if you put yourself in a situation where LeBron is handling all of that on an offensive end. This is almost impossible for anybody.
LeBron's really always in win now mode.
And
you can't. Exactly. It's hard to develop young players playing with guys who are in win now mode.
Word.
You got to think about the guys who are young players who are now fucking monsters in the NBA. They weren't in win now mode back then. When Steph went to Golden State, they weren't in win now mode. When Giannis went to Milwaukee, they wasn't in win now mode. So they had years to develop their game. And even for the Raptors technically wasn't in win now mode. They was in we're not winning enough with DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. We keep getting our ass kicked by LeBron, so let's make a switch. And luckily for y'all, when y'all made the switch, LeBron left the East.
Who did that though? Who's the president of basketball operations when that happened? Jesus Christ. The greatest general manager in the history of sports, Masai Ujiri.
You better enjoy it because his ass is gone.
I don't think he's leaving.
I don't think he's leaving
because think about
the only option is New York. I don't think he's leaving.
No, trust me, any team would want him. But besides the point, I don't want to get into Masai, but I would be so surprised if he's leaving because he's built so many ties, whether it's like the Giants of Africa thing that's closely associated with a lot of the people from the Raptors too. Because think about like the players on the Raptors. They'd be like long African males.
But think about if he turned the Raptors around. Think about how much notoriety and shit he would get turning the Knicks around.
Yes, but unless he doesn't turn the Knicks around.
Yeah, but I don't think people will hope that against him.
That's true. That's true.
But that's actually the reason why a lot of GMs end up leaving to begin with. Isn't because they do a bad job. It's because they want another challenge.
Yes,
because they don't like the redundancy of I got what I'm here we're at right now.
But he has another challenge though. in that for the first time in NBA history, the star player leaves after winning a championship, and now you have to figure out how you're going to salvage the situation. Do you bomb? Well,
but if he's exceeding expectations, which I think they are right now,
for sure,
with Siakam, then again, he may look for a different. Exactly, his job is
not
necessarily done.
I see what you're saying, 100%.
That's what general managers
think
say.
About why
nobody expects y'all to win a championship without.
Yeah, for sure.
So he's exceeding.
But think about why Masai even came to Toronto. The Raptors ownership usually was just about profit in like the 2000s. Mm-hmm. So they would never spend money on players or do deals if they thought that it would negatively impact their bottom line. But it's like, you can't think like that. You have to try and make the best team, and then the money's gonna come. So the second they made that switch late in the 2000s, they got rid of Brian Colangelo. They found a way to get rid of Bargnani's horrible contract, what Masai did. And then I think it's ownership. Ownership plays a very big role. So if you're Masai Ujiri and you've just been playing with this fantastic organization with the ownership that 100% fully supports you, you're not going to the Knicks, who have the worst ownership in the league.
He also I don't think it's gonna be Knicks, but he might
go to another team. I know Denver was bidding really, really hard for him because he was the GM in Denver before he came to Toronto. But I highly doubt it's gonna be the Knicks. Anyway, besides the point.
But he liked the challenge.
Yeah.
And and that's part of the reason why Sam Presti said he just wants the challenge of just rebuilding it all over again. Mm-hmm. Like, they just like the challenge.
Have you ever stopped to think, Cinco, like just analyze and talk to scouts to see what specifically they're looking for? Because I assume that's your point of contact with most teams.
For teams?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't have direct contact with scouts. Since I understand basketball a lot more. I just know who to watch.
Word.
So I watch certain people. Of course, we watch the LeBrons and the Giannis's because it's entertaining. But for somebody like me who wants to make it, I go and I watch other people that if I was to be plugged into that team, this is what I would be doing. Word. I know for a fact if the Lakers wanted to sign me today, I wouldn't be signed under the impression to do what the fuck LeBron is doing. Mm-hmm. So I watch LeBron for excitement and entertainment. And of course you can learn from LeBron as well, but I don't watch guys like that when I'm trying to learn how I can fit into a team. Word. I watch like DeAndre Hunter from the Hawks, or
that guy's nice, by the way,
or like
very
OG
underrated.
Anunoby, or facts. Derrick Jones Jr., guys like that. Like those are the guys that I could watch and learn from and be like, okay, this is what can get me in the NBA. Mm-hmm. And then after I get in, now I can progress and turn into something else.
Do you feel like there's a lot of pressure on you? Because a lot of people, and I feel like it shouldn't be the case because a lot of people play till their prime in like 33, 34, and then they slowly begin to decline. But in the minds of like a general manager, if you're bringing in somebody really, really young, they have high potential. But if you bring in someone who's in their mid-20s, they'll assume that their ceiling isn't nearly as high. So do you feel a lot of pressure, like you got to get shit done like right now, or do you think that you have a lot of time to get to where you're trying to go?
I feel a lot of pressure on myself because I need to get it done right now. For me,
but why do you need to get it done though?
Well, for me, when I first realized that I wanted to do this, my initial goal was to go to college for a year and go to the NBA.
Word.
Then when that didn't happen, I said, okay, I wanted to hit it by 21. Mm-hmm. Then when that didn't happen, I said, okay, I wanted to hit it by 25. I turned 26 in June. Word. So I've been giving myself timetables. Mm-hmm. So it's like now, I may not be hella old, and I've seen like Torrey Craig from the Nuggets, his first year he was 28. For sure. Jonathan Simmons' first year, he was like 26, 27. Yeah. So it's like, I feel like I do have the extra like year or two, maybe, to kind of get to where I'm going. But where my life is right now and the shit that I'm trying to do in 2 to 3 years, I put the pressure on myself to hit it.
That's good though. You got a sense of urgency. Yeah. It kind of like there's no day you want to take off because like you got to get this shit done now. Yeah. But it's good that even though like you're extending your quote unquote like made up deadline for when you want to get shit done. Yeah. That happens with most. I don't think, and this is very rare where you set a deadline or you want to accomplish like a very challenging goal and then you just get it done on time. Right. A lot of the time, especially when there's like gatekeepers, like you have to know somebody, you have to impress somebody. It takes time, and maybe you're not in the right situation now, but you might be in the future.
No successful person has ever really been able to do this shit by themselves.
That's a fact.
So no matter what profession you're in, no matter what you're doing, you can always use a helping hand or somebody that's willing,
So who's helping you?
As far as like NBA stuff?
Just in life, like.
Well, when it comes to like the NBA stuff, like being with the Millsaps since I'm in Atlanta, is, the right people to be with. Everything else as far as like, YouTube and just making it through the day, it's kind of like just going. Really. Like, you know, we built a relationship, but it's not like, you know, we don't call each other every day and be like, you know, let's do a video, whatever. So it's just like, you know, it goes day by day. So if it happens, it happens. You know, if it doesn't, it doesn't. But it's like.
So you don't have like an agent or a manager or anything like that?
Nah.
Yeah, you definitely need to get one because
agents are grimy.
Yeah,
for sure.
Now, I put it like this: working with the NBA stuff, like I said, D'Angelo is Paul's agent, so that's who I kind of like. That's my form of contact for NBA teams.
Word.
But when it comes to overseas teams, I don't really talk to agents. I rather talk to teams directly. I've talked to agents, but they don't really do nothing.
So here's the thing. I don't like, maybe you're in a different domain when it comes to the athletic stuff, but for me, I know that getting a deal, let's say I want like Fiji to sponsor me because I drink their water all the time. I would not be able to do that by myself. Well, there's probably a chance I can. And there was times where I would even like mock up 3D renders of a room to make like this. I'm gonna try and do this. I propose this.
Right.
And I'm talking directly with the brand, and I had a point of contact to connect to me, but it doesn't work out. And so I feel like in almost every negotiation, it's way easier when there's a third party agent representing you.
Yeah,
but
when
you're right.
when it comes to shit like that, like brand deals and stuff like that, then yeah, of course having a manager or something would be more beneficial. But where I am right now and what I'm trying to get, unless it's the NBA, I don't really need it.
Word.
So I mean, of course, like bigger leagues overseas, NBL and stuff like that, like sometimes people will hit you up. Like I had a guy hit me up randomly on Instagram. And this is the thing, a lot of these people be low key. So a guy hit me up on Instagram. He follows like 800 people. He has 120 followers. So that ratio sucks.
Yeah.
So and he doesn't. And the only thing he posts on his page
is that an agent?
I don't know if he's specifically an agent or if he's a middleman, but he's well connected.
Sure.
So
you can't be well connected with 120 followers.
But that's what you think, though.
Yeah.
But when I went through the 120 followers,
it's well connected people.
at least like 40 of them were verified.
What?
Athletes.
That guy must not use that platform at all. That's the only
so it's like, and the only thing he posts on there is images of like collage pictures of guys playing overseas. So I asked him like, are all these guys on your page guys that you've helped get jobs? And he said some of them are, some of them aren't. But he's hitting me up with shit that an agent that I talked to 2 years ago
was hitting you up about
wouldn't hit me up about or couldn't do. So it's like he hit me up out the blue one day and was like, "Hey, would you be interested in going to the NBL?" You know, and I'm like, "The same league LaMelo played in," and he's like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Yeah, if you can make it happen." But again, there's politics to that. It may be if he's being able to submit my resume to those guys, I'm pretty sure it's other agents out here submitting their players.
Yeah, so maybe an agent isn't the right term, but now that I've like developed more relationships with different organizations, sometimes they'll just call me up randomly and be like, "Hey, we have this opportunity for you," and they'll connect me with the brand. So like, even if it's not an agent, just connect with like
I think it gets to the point where if you learn how to handle business yourself,
then you're valid. You should know how to do it yourself anyway, but then if you have other people to help you along the way, then it's like the shit multiplies.
Get with some people, learn the game, man, in and out. No matter what game you're in, no matter what profession you're in, I say get with some people, learn it in and out, and that way you can start taking shit over yourself. Because sometimes middlemen don't really even know the best interest for you. Like I've been in situations. I've been in situations with agents who I literally went to sleep without a deal and woke up the next morning to a team texting me saying shit like, "Are you ready to bring a championship to the team?" And I'm looking at my phone like,
sound like some shit you get on your phone in my career.
Yeah. And I'm looking at my phone like, who the hell is this? And I had to call my agent like, this team just hit me up, and he tells me like, "Oh yeah, I just negotiated a deal with you." How?
Man, what the hell?
You didn't ask me how much money I was trying to get from the team. You don't know how much money. You don't even know if I want to go to that country, but you got them thinking I'm about to sign on the spot.
Well, I feel like if I could understand why maybe he'd do that, because if he was a little hesitant about it, then maybe the likelihood that they would even be interested would be very low. So he just make it seem like, but usually how it works just in when it comes to deals for me is they'll reach out first and be like, "Are you interested?" And then I need to answer quick. Sometimes they need a quick turnaround, a few hours to answer. Boom, you answer, "I'm interested." Then they pitch you. That's kind of crazy. He pitched you before. Yeah, it doesn't take long.
Easy. If you ask me, "Am I interested?" You give me the blueprint of what I need to skim over. I can tell you in 30 minutes.
And I'm assuming you reply back really quickly.
Yeah. So my phone is always on. So it's like I can tell you in 30 minutes if I want this or not. But for me to wake up and see, are you ready to bring
Was it a horrible deal out of curiosity? You don't have to say specifics, but were you like interested in doing it?
Let's just say I stayed in that location for a week.
Word. I feel like it's cool though that you've gotten all these experiences, even if they're not all positive, just around the world.
Yeah.
Because not a lot of people get that, and so you come back, and then now like that kind of builds up your character. And I definitely feel like you have a lot more discipline than the average
makes
person.
you appreciate. I'll tell you, some of these countries make you appreciate America.
Oh,
and I know you're from Canada, but some of these countries make you appreciate.
Yeah,
I've been to Iraq before, but we're not going to talk about that.
I was gonna say that too. Like,
too long.
Since you've been across the waters, like what, like any type of, what's the funniest story or like something that you you realize like, oh, this is,
it's real.
Yeah.
All right, so when I went to Iraq, right?
Oh no.
so let me tell people, getting out of Iraq is harder than getting in.
I could imagine.
But when I went there, my first night there, we were scheduled. I got there like 4 p.m. We were scheduled to leave at like 8 to go to Baghdad. And so when I get there, it's people outside. The first thing I hear, it sounded like bombs. Like, and that was 3 hours after being there. It sounded like bombs. But I look out my window and it's like they're having, it may have been the weekend. They do like some weekend party like on Fridays or whatever, like outside.
Yeah. Friday is like Jummah.
Shooting
So
like Roman candle fireworks and shit.
Friday's usually a celebratory day in like Muslim majority countries.
So it was crazy to me because I'm like, you know, a Roman candle, if you shoot enough at one time, it's loud enough. So I'm like, bro, I've been here for 3 hours. I know we not blowing up already. So it's like, so I look outside and I see him shooting the Roman candles, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I stayed in Iraq for like a month and a half. I only signed for the playoffs. So I go to Baghdad, and there was a good ice cream shop in Baghdad. We was in Baghdad for like a week and a half before I left.
Yeah.
So I'm like, ice cream was pretty good. Get some burgers and fries. Go to the ice cream spot. Come back, get the lamb later. I did it every day that I was there. So I get the ice cream. When I finally get back to America, I go to an ice cream shop on Monday. I leave Iraq on Wednesday. I get to America on Friday. On Sunday, ISIS blew up that ice cream shop.
Whoa.
The same exact ice cream shop.
Man, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Did they say why they blew that up?
No.
Did they say why?
I'm curious, what the fuck is the problem with the ice cream shop?
ISIS blew it up. So I'm like, at the time, when I first decided to go, when I told my dad, because my dad was in the military, so my dad fought in Iraq. So when I first showed him the contract.
Did he think that was crazy?
When I told him I was going, he said, no, the fuck you're not. When I showed him the contract, he said, yes, the fuck you are. So I was gone. But when I came back, he was like, I'm glad you got out of there.
That's fucking crazy.
And I know you're in tune with basketball, so you ever heard of Marshall Henderson?
Yeah.
Used to play at Ole Miss?
Yep.
So I think Marshall Henderson was in Iraq the year before I got there, and they blew up. He was on the opposite side of the hotel. They blew up the side that he wasn't on.
Yeah.
So and they had to play a game that night, so he could open the door and see outside. Like they blew the whole shit up.
Wait, who blew it up?
ISIS or somebody.
I don't know if it's ISIS,
Iraq.
but it was something like that.
Yeah. Iraq was the craziest shit I had ever experienced, and I'm like, unless y'all give me like 100 bands a month, I'm not going back. And if I do go back, I'll stay there for 2 months and come back home.
Jeez.
Like
that's crazy.
So I know why the process going in and out the country is long, but what does that look like? Is that just you sitting around waiting for?
Well, it depends. The team messed up my exit visa. I don't know how they did that, but they ended up messing up my exit visa. So I was there 2 weeks after the season was over, which I didn't really. I cared because I wanted to get back home, but at the same time I didn't care because they was paying me by the day.
Oh, okay.
So when I left, I left with like an extra 4 bands in 2 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
Right. So, but when I left, it was like, so you know when you leave the airport, when you go to a regular airport in America, you got to go through security checkpoint, you drop your bags and all that shit. I had to go through 8 of those, from checking in and getting my boarding pass to getting to my gate. I had to go through 8 of them.
What is the chances the first 7 miss?
Yeah.
You should have better machinery, man.
But they're not a far distance. They're like 150 steps away from each other.
Jeez.
And it's like I'm looking like, damn, I gotta take this bag off 8 different times. Just taking it off.
Oh, so you said you played in Israel too. I heard Israel had the most secure airport in the world.
They do. Because I went to Iraq before I went to Israel. And
they have like 20 of them in Israel, or?
You know they don't like each other. Iraq.
Oh, I know that, yeah.
So when I got to Israel, I was in customs for an hour.
Oh.
Because they looked at my passport.
Oh, and they saw you went to Iraq.
And they saw I went to Iraq.
Oh, man.
And I had to tell them that I played basketball. And that's why I was in Iraq.
They didn't believe you though. It's like, oh,
they did. They just wanted to make sure I wasn't trying to come bomb Israel.
Oh, for sure.
So when I got through, but even when I got through, it was like I had this big ass bag with a lot of my shit in it, like a big suitcase, army type of thing, and they made me empty the whole thing. I'm talking about like me. I almost got arrested in Israel for arguing with the security guard because when he opened my box up,
was he mad disrespectful?
My clothes was folded. Like I had everything was neatly folded, and he's like taking it out, just throwing it to the side. I'm like, you gonna fold that shit back up, right? Like, because I'm not
a security guard folding your clothes back up.
Because I'm not folding it up. I'm like, I folded up already, and then so another guy had to come from the back and was like, "Don't worry, we'll put it back in there neatly." So I'm like, I made sure that they put it in there neatly before I went to my gate. But it was like, luckily for me, I got family in Israel, so if anything would have really happened, I was gonna be okay.
That is insane.
But
it's very much so insane. Crazy.
But I love Israel though.
Have you ever played with any like professional NBA players, like ex-NBA players, while you was overseas?
Not overseas, but in the summer times and stuff, they all be here.
So why'd you choose Atlanta then, out of all places?
To move?
Yeah.
My dad, we moved from Chicago. I moved here for high school. So my dad.
Oh, so you've been here?
Yeah, my dad was in the military. He moved here. So I did high school here. And
what high school you go to?
Just stay here. Lithia Spring.
Oh, you guys are okay. I felt like that was some confidential information.
No.
How is the gym I go to confidential, but the high school he went to is not confidential?
He doesn't go to the high school every day. Are you crazy?
All right, whatever.
I mean, people ain't gonna pull up on me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but it's not like you at the high school every day. You go to the gym every day.
I see your reasoning.
I'm not you, man. You know what I'm saying? You remember when we went to Lennox? Everybody was like, "Oh my God, that's Agent Zero," and I'm like, "Damn." I'm used to that happening to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm on the sideline.
I'm definitely not going to Lennox with you, especially how many shootings going on right now.
Yeah, that's I'm juke that.
I mean, three shootings since December. That ain't bad.
That is bad. That is bad by the standard of any other mall.
Yeah, that's only at one spot too.
That's bad for Lennox.
Yeah. Because Cumberland had its own shooting.
Yeah, Cumberland had like two since
Cumberland was the Jordan releases. You know how black folks in Jordan releases happen.
But still though, that's not
at least
it shouldn't happen.
I find some like harmony in knowing that it was confrontational shootings. It wasn't just a person that shot for no reason. Yeah. Because if it was a person shooting for no reason, I'd be truly concerned. But if it's like, oh, you took the J's that I wanted, then I could see how that might escalate if you was a huge fan of Jordan.
I'm not even running that risk.
Look, I stay out of them territories.
That's what I'm saying.
My days of standing in line for sneakers have been long gone.
I'm done with that.
I can't do it no more.
I'm definitely not doing that.
Word, unless maybe you're reselling it and it's like your business, but even then, that's a hard business to.
No. I can't even believe they still have people standing in lines for that. All that stuff should be done online. Like that's
most of it is done online now.
But the fact that they still have some of it, that's just silly. That's stupid as hell.
That's probably how a lot of people remember. Like, they used to really like lining up to get the new. You know what I mean? So
now when you line up, you just got to be cautious.
True.
Especially now. Now that Lennox is doing some shooting, you got to be cautious. You know, anybody that had these on right here, you get the hell on. you get the hell on.
The baby black force.
Yeah, you get the hell on.
You know
yeah. No, I'm definitely not doing that. But what's the next step? Like, what's next for you? Are you gonna more so commit on the YouTube end? Are you still like is basketball still at a priority for you where if something pop up, you just drop everything and go ahead and go?
I commit to both, but I don't want to go overseas. So
overseas is done for you unless it's the
unless it's a top league, like if it's like Euro League or NBL, or if it's like, France Pro A, top league Germany, somewhere that I know if I go, it's respected enough for me to get looked at by some NBA teams. If it's not something like that, then I'm not going. I'm gonna stay here and just work out. Try to get some NBA workouts in the summertime. If not, try to get a couple of those G League workouts. Like those start like September.
Can you just go to like all the teams' workouts if you wanted to?
If I wanted to pay that money,
it's $150, right?
Yes, I mean, well, sometimes the fees get waived. If you connected, they'll waive the fee, but you still gotta get to those locations. So it's like if I wanted to go to Memphis,
just go on like tour in the Northeast, since like all the cities are closer. You just
could
hit all those tryouts.
You could actually.
I mean, you could, but that's all for me. Like I said, I just go to the gym majority of the time, come home and grind YouTube. So really, I'm doing both. I'm putting enough time into both.
Word.
So
right now, though, it's not like really the season for you to like think that something is going to pop up for you.
I mean, it is. I could get a call tomorrow and say a team in top league Germany want me to leave.
Okay.
And then that would just be up to me if I wanted to leave or not. But for me right now, how my mind is operating, I really just want to be in the league or at least the G League. But I also want to do my thing on YouTube. So I'm making my days easy enough to grind out both.
So when you go to like these random places in Europe or in Asia, the women have to love you because you must be like a unicorn to them. Tall as shit, black guy. They probably have never
I got a fiance. If you watching this,
you should have led with that.
you know, if you're watching this,
I can imagine they'd be all over you because they will never again see someone like you in their life.
What?
Yes. What are the odds? How often do you see a tall black guy?
it depends on where you go though.
But in Atlanta, maybe this is the wrong question to ask. But in any other American city, it's rare. Let alone you go across and play in a place that's like majority.
It depends on where you go because Israel, it's a lot of Americans that go to Israel because they have a first and a second division. Mm-hmm. So the first division, you're allowed, I think, 7 imports per team. So a lot of them are American. And then a lot of those teams are close to the main city, Tel Aviv, if they're not in Tel Aviv. Mm-hmm. So they see a fair amount of, black basketball players and things like that. Even other countries like Germany. Right. Germany got black U.S. soldiers over there.
I'm about to say, it seems like black in Germany.
Yeah, so certain places.
Exactly.
Now, like Slovakia, that's a different story. When I went to Slovakia, it was me and 3 other Americans. Mm-hmm. We was the only black people in the whole little area. So when they see us, it's like immediate staring, and they don't hide their stares either.
I don't want to sound ignorant or nothing, but like they'll speak English around you though, right? Because I feel like
countries that understand English, like Israel, English is a mandatory taught language, so they speak English there.
No, they probably know English, but do they speak it around you?
Yeah, sometimes. There's some people that speak English, some people that speak their language, so we don't know what they're saying.
Yeah.
So Iraq was no English. I had one of my teammates spoke English outside of my American teammate. Mm-hmm. Only one of the Iraqi teammates spoke English, so I never knew what the fuck they were saying.
He's like, he said pick and roll, but you thought he said pick and pop, and now you're fighting.
The only thing they understood was switch and defense and pass the ball.
Jeez.
That's the only English words that they knew. That was it.
Word. So are you bilingual or you know other languages?
I can speak like certain words of Hebrew. Like I said, because I got family and stuff from there. My dad is Israeli, but I haven't taken the time to learn it for real.
Word.
But I do want to learn Hebrew and learn Spanish. I think Spanish would be a dope ass language.
I want to learn French, which is crazy because I spent my whole childhood trying not to learn French in school. But now I kind of want to learn it. But yeah, that'd be really cool. I feel like it's not even that hard to learn a new language. You just put like a few hours a day for like a year.
For Hebrew, I wouldn't want to learn how to write it. I'm not learning how to write Hebrew. I just want to learn how to speak it. Because we read left to right. Hebrew reads right to left.
Yeah, I know how to read Arabic.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, Hebrew reads right to left. If you went on your phone and switched your language to Hebrew and started typing, it'll start from right to left.
Facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I speak a few languages too. Arabic is like that too, where it's opposite. You just have to get used to it.
I want to speak Jamaican.
Well, I'll go on bridging.
Exactly. I'm dead ass. I want to
impress us. Come on, dude. Oh, you want to speak it? I thought you said you can't speak.
No. I want to.
Don't though.
Why not?
Because there's a lot of Jamaican people in Toronto. And anytime someone's not Jamaican but they're trying to pull it off, they just come across as like, yeah.
I'm not trying to pull it off. I want to know it. Like I'm not trying to fake like I know. I actually want to know it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but they're still gonna be on your ass about that.
But there's not real Jamaicans in Canada. Come on now.
Are you kidding?
There's no water over there.
Most of Toronto's culture is influenced by Jamaica and Somalia.
So you stole. Okay, all right, yeah.
It's not about stealing. The Jamaicans in Toronto influenced the culture. So where they did that. Where the Jamaicans come from? Jamaica.
So they flew all the way over.
A lot of people in Toronto is first generation immigrants. So like growing up, a very common question is where are you from? And the answer is Ethiopia, Somalia, Romania, wherever. If I ask where you're from in Atlanta, 50% of the time I'm met with a blank stare.
Southside?
Like no,
Southside?
Or they'll be like, here, I'm from here, I'm American. But it's like, but where are you really from?
That's
the difference though. They're gonna give you what side of town they from.
Yeah, they're gonna say Southside.
Like even in Chicago, they'll tell you the side, but they're gonna tell you the number street too. Out here, it's not a number street.
It's not as many first generation or second generation immigrants here. That's why. In Toronto, is a lot of them. So their parents, most likely, if not their grandparents, immigrated here. And so, so a lot of people came from Jamaica. There's a lot of Somalians, there's a lot of Chinese people. So Toronto culture is just a mix of a lot of what's already there. But so when the people try and pull off Jamaican, and like even when they try and do the accent, whatever, it just sound mad corny.
But y'all do that too, though.
Who?
Canadians, y'all do that.
What do we do?
Like Tory Lanez just made a whole song acting like he's from New York.
Drake.
He did like Fivio's flow. Yeah, Fabi. That's a really good song. But he allowed it though. It's like if you got the blessing, right? That's what Drake does a lot of. Is he sees something and then he's like, oh, that sounds dope. So what's the difference? I like to add that to my reportoire. So
what's the difference between that and what I'm doing?
But people do think Drake is corny for that.
Yeah, he is.
So I'm saying people are gonna think you're corny for that too. That's what I'm trying to say.
You're corny. I'm corny. Both of them corny.
I don't think Drake is corny for that. I just think he's very talented to be able to do a whole lot of different things. A whole lot. Like his array of what he can do on any given song is very wide.
Yeah, when somebody else writes it for you, yeah.
He doesn't know. I'm telling you, he writes most of it. I'm best friends with Drake. Maybe not.
Okay. All right.
Maybe not.
Anyway, yeah, when somebody else writes it for you, good. You valid.
Word? That's how you're coming today?
That's a fact. If somebody else writes it for you, you good.
He writes most of his shit though, so cut that out, bro.
Do I?
Yeah. Like Russ.
No, I don't. I don't. Let me know. I don't know that.
So somebody was tweeted at Russ the other day and was like, bro, Russ, you said you write all your shit. How come like 5 other people have writing credits on this song? And Russ was like, man, you think you know everything. But apparently you'll get writing credits for a song if you were sampled in the song. Yeah. So you didn't even really have to put any effort. You were just sampled in the music, but you get writing credits for that. So maybe that's what's happening with Drake. So I'm trying to say, bro.
No, but we actually know the person who wrote.
But Drake said that nobody wrote it for him. He just helped him write it. You see the difference?
No. Pause. Agent, we're not to spend time on this.
All right, wait. So if Vortex helps me with an idea, we come up with it together.
No.
Then is it? And imagine if someone's like, "Oh, that's Vortex's idea." I'd be like, "No, we developed it together.
No,
we worked out this part, and he worked out this part."
When somebody literally spit the whole thing and had the flow down, no, he was coming.
That's like a handful of shit, though, bro. You're trying to apply it to his whole.
I'm not saying his whole, but I'm saying it's easier to sound like a nigga from Atlanta when a nigga from Atlanta is spitting it right.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have.
It's easy to do R&B when the Weeknd, who does R&B, is doing your stuff.
But you got to learn it from somewhere if that's what you want to do, right?
Yeah, that's and you said. I'm not saying. I'm saying it's easy to do that.
Don't come at Drake like that, bro.
It's easy to do that when somebody else is doing it for you.
I bet. Okay.
He trash.
We'll leave it at Drake.
No, I was playing.
Drake. Drake. Don't say that now.
That's tough.
That's just disrespectful.
I don't know what else you be doing, because I've never measured my life.
Yeah, we were just talking before the pod, and you said you put on a lot of muscle. So is that like?
Oh, I think you're talking about the R. Kelly story.
We not talking on that one.
No, we can't. We can't.
That ain't really. I mean, that's not.
You're not talking about that.
We can't talk about the R. Kelly.
Listen. I haven't seen nothing of what has been posted on. I actually haven't watched the show.
You have to comment on it.
But like all the allegations, you don't
have to comment on it.
I've seen none of it.
So you said you were putting on.
But there's plenty of people who saw the R. Kelly stuff, so it's not like it's secret or anything like that.
But why is such a random thing to bring up?
It's not random. He brought it up before we got to the pod.
I was talking to Waleed, but you know.
Yeah, so we here now. So R. Kelly.
So you said you put on a lot of muscle, right?
What'd you see R. Kelly do?
I didn't see R. Kelly do shit.
Oh, okay.
Yo, why you set him up like that?
No, I thought that was a story. I thought he was around R. Kelly. He was like, he saw R. Kelly move.
No.
You heard incorrectly.
Oh yeah, my bad. I mean, if he told,
Lo trying to put me on the stand.
Wait.
Lo trying to put me on the stand.
To the people listening on the audio platforms, let you know that Lo has his troll face on.
No, I'm just saying.
Engaged.
This is the segment called Lowe's Trolls, and I'm not falling into that.
Can we talk about a serious topic, Bo, before we end this, man? Because I'm actually kind of curious.
Wait, what did you say, though?
I said you put on a lot of muscle. And so that must have been something that changed because were you doing it before and you just lost it because you stopped working out, or how'd that go?
From time to time, I'll lift and then I'll stop. But I used to eat like shit. So now I kind of changed the way that I was eating. And so, as basketball players, you want to have like your body fat percentage. Most guys that's really healthy are anywhere from like 3 to 6.
What? 3? Three is death.
Like three. No. Just body fat though. Like some guys, three to 4. No.
3 is like if you're joining a bodybuilding competition, you do some poses. No. Yeah, that's 3.
You can get like 3 to 6.
What? Whatever. 6 is more reasonable. 3 is crazy.
So realistically, what happened was me, since I used to eat like shit, and then I used to barely eat. Mm-hmm. So everything that I was barely eating, my body was going into starvation mode, and it was just storing it. Mm-hmm. So I would get a lot of like lower stomach fat that would increase my body fat percentage. So when I tested it at like the beginning of December, I was at like 13%. I weighed like 195 pounds, but it was 13% body fat.
Right.
So I did the whole month of December where I ate 4 times a day, all meal prepped food between grilled chicken, baked chicken, a little bit of steak, broccoli, rice, shrimp. I stopped eating bread. I cut out everything with sugar in it. Like you see Powerade Zero is no sugar.
That tastes disgusting, by the way.
It tastes like
disgusting.
If it's
like
cold,
a bad version of the one that already.
So we're never getting sponsored by Powerade.
If it's
the
cold,
Zero one tastes horrible.
No, listen. If it's cold, it tastes good. Room temperature is awful.
Oh, word.
But
that's the gem. Okay.
I'm only drinking it right now because I don't have nothing else to drink.
Word.
So like, I cut out all the sugar. I cut out the bread, and so I basically transformed like 10 pounds of body fat to muscle. So I'm still 195, but it's just more muscle than what was body fat. So now my body fat percentage is like 8, but I'm trying to get down to like 4.
That's wild.
Jeez.
So. You have to show me someone at 4, because my understanding is like when you do those bodybuilding competitions, you go to the sauna for 15 hours and then you pull up with like 2% body fat.
NBA players could be like 3-4. Like Serge Ibaka's probably like a 3-4.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he's probably like a 3-4.
You can't tell.
In my mind, I wouldn't say 6 seems reasonable. 6 to 8.
I'm about to say I wouldn't definitely think anything over 10 would just be outrageous.
I mean, you have guys who really eat how they're supposed to eat, and you can tell in their physique. And then you have other guys who like they eat how they supposed to eat, but
like
they'll
PJ
cheat it. Yeah, but they'll cheat it too. So like God, you know what I'm saying? Somebody like that who's really not cut up for real.
Yeah,
like you can tell. But for me, it was just about being consistent with the lift. Like I probably haven't lifted though in like 3 weeks. So
you feel like you're gonna lose those gains?
I mean, I lost the gains a little bit, but my body fat percentage probably stayed the same because I'm still eating right. So I'm not eating bad. I had like a week and a half where I did eat like shit, and I still have my meal prep food, but on the side I was eating like Cinnabons and like a fucking honey bun.
Cinnabons, man. Let's talk about it. Cinnabons is some of the most delicious stuff next to Krispy Kreme.
You got to be disciplined, bro. You got to walk past that shit in the mall.
They have it everywhere here. It is rare in Toronto. They got that shit everywhere, man. It's amazing.
I'm surprised they don't have like the actual store out here.
Word. It's just at malls usually.
No, but it's an actual store. It's on the south side. It's an actual store.
Yeah, it's tough.
Cinnabon store. You can smell that food away.
Food discipline is the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with in my life. But,
me too.
But I'm doing it though, for real.
You can probably tell.
But no, for real.
I feel miserably for a while.
But you've been doing good though.
Yeah, way better now. So
like I spent most of last year. 60.
Yeah, I'm almost at 60. In like a few days, I'm gonna be at 60 pounds. And it feels like patience was probably the biggest thing, to be honest with you, because I'd have a good day and I'll be like, bro, how come I didn't lose 20 pounds? In my mind, that sounds crazy, but that's the results I wanted because I just wanted this shit to be over with. Because in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to commit to not eating good food for the rest of my life. But yeah, I just ended up breaking it down.
See, the thing about it is, because my dad was just I put my dad on a little food plan, and my dad just lost like 40, 50 pounds. We need that, man. But y'all know the deal, man. This your boy, Bobby Cinco. Holla at your boy, I Gets Money.
All right, man. We'll catch you on the next one.
All right, peace.
Went out to eat a couple times. You didn't really eat a lot.
No, yeah.
You were saying like you was eating like. See, now that realistically, it's working for you right now as far as you losing weight, but realistically, it's not good. Because you still can.
It's good though.
I mean, let's not get it because he's gonna
really
tell you that it's. I know it's not good.
I believe.
But he's going to tell you.
I believe that it's good because it's helping him. But at the same time, you don't have to damn near starve yourself to see the result.
But yo, check it out. I'm not starving. Okay, you're sick and Cinco. Check it out, because this is gonna sound crazy to everybody listening.
You're not starving.
Not only am I not starving, but I haven't felt hunger in weeks. Like I might feel hunger for like a few minutes every few weeks, and that's it. Because the hormone that controls hunger, ghrelin, once you fast enough times, especially if you don't eat at the same time every single day, because that's usually when your ghrelin is going to spike up and it's going to make you feel like you're hungry. But I just eat one really big meal. I don't get hungry till the next time that day.
When you go work out, do you eat?
I hate eating before I work out. I'll never do that
So you eat afterwards?
No, I eat way before. So like I usually work out way late at night. So if I'm eating, I usually eat anywhere between like 2 p.m. to like 6 p.m. Right. So any time between there, I'm valid. Sometimes if Waleed's like, yo, let's go to the hibachi spot at 9 p.m., then I'll just wait till 9 p.m. to eat. So it doesn't really matter when. I just eat once a day. And that shit is so valid, bro.
And that's what
it's valid.
Honestly, it's probably because I guess it's different because I'm a lot more active. But for me, like even eating these 4 meals a day, I be feeling like I be hungry still.
But so hunger is not real though, Cinco.
No, listen.
Hunger is not real.
Listen. Cinco, listen. Okay, look. I'm gonna let AJ say hunger's not real, but I be hungry as fuck. So I mean, but he can say it's not real, but I be hungry.
Luckily, I've been fasting for Ramadan my whole life growing up, and so when I started to intermittent fast, it wasn't nothing new. I've already been doing it. Right. Except when you intermittent fast, you can also drink water, which is the worst part about fasting during Ramadan is water. No one really gets hungry. Nobody I speak to is like, oh, I can't wait to eat. Well, everyone loves to eat, but they're like, water, I'm thirsty. So that's the worst part. But hunger doesn't mean your body needs food. Hunger is just reminding you that your body needs food. But it does, your hormone, the ghrelin hormone doesn't go up as your body needs food. Let's say you work out 3-4 times, you're not going to start feeling hungry because you ran out of energy, because that's just not how the hormone works. Anyway,
but you need to eat to fulfill the energy to keep you going. After
Listen to me. I'm gonna tell you. How do I not feel hunger then? How do I never feel it?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you work out 3 or 4 times, you do need to.
This is exactly what I'm gonna do. One of these days, since you said it,
you definitely not about to work out 3 or 4 times.
Oh yeah, no, not 3-4 times a day.
Grab this. I'm working out with you.
One of these days,
and we're gonna see.
One of these days where you don't eat before you work out, I'm gonna put you through an hour.
We'll do that.
Weightlifting.
I'm not gonna do it. I'll do it, but I'm gonna fail miserably because I'm obese, but I'll try and but check it out. I can't work out the way he works out because I'm not as fit as he is. But I'm gonna try and keep up with you.
Right.
But you don't. It's not only that. It's just that you don't have the actual energy.
You don't have anything.
No, before we go to that workout that day, if I'm going real hard, I'll just eat an extra 500 calories. Boom. Solve the issue.
You gonna burn that shit out in the first 3 sets.
I might not eat 1,000
in the first 3 sets. You may be done.
That is my dream, is to eat more. So if I could eat 3,000 calories that day because I'm going hard the next day, I'm gonna be so excited.
But that's what I'm telling you. You can literally still lose the weight that you're losing
if you just work out more.
3,000 calories a day. You have to eat it in portions.
Nah, that's not even. First of all, that takes way more time, right?
It only takes way more time because you don't want to cook.
Yeah, I hate cooking with the passion.
Listen. I'm not putting your business on the podcast, but you make enough money to go out here and pay one of these Atlanta chefs to meal prep you.
Nah.
Hey, look. I make
at least for a week.
Listen, I cook my own food now.
I know. Yeah, I seen you do your meal prep.
You want to come on, you know what I'm saying? I'll hook you a little.
That's basically what he's saying.
Look, Cinco can hook you up with some stuff. I can get you right now. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You just sound ridiculous. I don't know. This is why I'm done talking to you about
If you ignore hunger, so this is what you think.
It's not the hunger part.
Listen to this. Because there's a channel that I learned all this from. I think it's called What I've Learned on YouTube. He talks a lot about intermittent fasting and its benefits. You think that the less, like, let's say you go 24 hours without eating, you're hungry, right? You think if you go to 48, you're going to get hungrier, and 72, you're going to get hungrier. But hunger comes in waves. You'll feel it, and then it won't be there, and you'll feel it, and it won't be there. So the less you react to the hormone by eating every time you get hungry, because then it's going to be like, oh, it worked. Next time I get hungry at the same time tomorrow, so he can eat again. Because it just wants you.
And that'll be a person that's not an athlete, though.
Now the athlete stuff makes sense. You probably don't want a 24-hour fast.
That makes sense. I eat on schedule.
Yes.
So literally,
what's your schedule?
My morning, I eat breakfast anywhere between 8 to 10, depending on what time I get up. Then my second meal of the day, lunch, is anywhere from 12 to 2, depending on how many workouts I've done between like that 8 a.m. and that 2 p.m. Depending on how many workouts I've done, I'll probably eat lunch between 12 to 2. My third meal of the day is anywhere between like 4 to 6. And then I eat dinner between 8 to 10, depending on what I'm doing.
Now that's valid, but it's like you don't even have to do a 24-hour fast though. Like
I would never.
Bare athletes do 16-hour fast with an 8-hour window, so you could eat 2 to 3 times just within that 8-hour window.
But what we saying, it's not really about the hunger part. It's just about if you don't eat and you're trying to do like any type of.
No one's saying
workout.
Don't eat. I'm just saying change when you eat.
No, you saying that's what fast.
24-hour fast. But then you eat all your calories, so you have all this energy, right? And then you're going to use it throughout the day. So I'm saying if you just have a really big workout, then maybe you want to increase your window for eating, but you could also just eat more calories the day before.
My only thing is, it's
not
still
the whole
possible.
Day before.
Logically, that makes sense, though.
My only thing is, I feel like you could still lose weight without.
You can. It's just this way. It's cheaper. It saves you more time, and it's incredibly effective. And because I'm going to end up losing
but it's not incredibly effective for everyone, though.
I mean, nothing's incredibly effective for everybody, but I'm saying generally speaking, there's a reason why a lot more people are intermittent fasting. Because previously, like 10 years ago, if I said I was fasting, they'd be like, "Oh, are you Muslim for Ramadan?" Or sometimes Greek people fast for like they don't eat dairy or something like that. Mm-hmm. But you wouldn't think like regular people would be fasting, but now it's so popular because it's been effective for bare people. That's all.
I ain't fasting for shit.
Yeah, I'm not. Don't.
But you think that you're not capable of doing it? But yo, it's like the cold low. The shit really doesn't exist if you don't want it to.
But it's not really even the whole capability of doing it. It's just how being in a caloric deficit works. I mean, that's just how it works.
I'm saying if I say I'm gonna work out with Cinco, right? We're expected to burn like 1,000 calories in the workout. Well, it's gonna be different for both of us because we have different bodies. But I'll just adjust accordingly the day before. So if I'm an athlete, maybe I'll eat like, and I'm trying to like, let's say I'm trying to lose weight. Maybe I'll eat like 2,700 calories and go real hard at the gym. And then it's gonna level itself out, so it's not like you're still gonna be in a 500 calorie deficit.
For people who do Ramadan is you can't
from sun up to sundown. You can't eat a drink.
So like I think Enes Kanter is Muslim. I think he's
Turkish.
Ramadan.
Yeah.
I think last year when Ramadan was going on, they were saying Enes Kanter would eat like an egg sandwich or whatever his breakfast was at like 4 a.m. before the sun comes up, and then he don't eat nothing again until the next 4 a.m. Now,
but that's different.
Enes Kanter is Enes Kanter, but imagine somebody like LeBron eating at 4 a.m. and then not eating again until after the game.
Yeah, but that's what I would. I'm not saying that.
Like, how do you think LeBron would perform if he ate at 4 a.m. and then didn't eat again until the next?
It would never happen.
But I'm saying what I'm saying is you don't have to do a 24-hour fast. That's just what I choose to do because I only go to the gym one time a day for like 1 hour. So
what type of fast do you think LeBron would be on?
16-hour fast, 8-hour window. But Enes Kanter is different. For Ramadan, you also can't drink, so that'd be the biggest thing for him.
But when sundown comes, he can just start drinking.
He can.
Okay, then.
But what if he's playing a game before then? So that's what I'm saying.
Before then what?
Before the sun comes down.
If I was in this Kanter, I'd have somebody on the sideline like, look, buddy, we play at 6.
Tell me when.
We play at 6.
As soon as that sunset.
Halftime is at 7:45.
Thank you.
But you don't know. If there's a lot of circumstances in which you don't have to fast for Ramadan, like if I'm traveling, like if I fly to LA, I don't have to fast. I could make up the fast when I get back. So I'm just saying, just besides the point, like you don't try too many things. That's what I noticed about you, Lo.
I've done.
I'm gonna get you to fast with me one day.
But you act as if like I eat multiple servings. You know I don't eat that much.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, you have a whole bunch of like. Nah, you don't eat at all.
Exactly.
You eat very little though.
No.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie.
So I know for a fact that shit not gonna work.
Look, I ain't gonna lie. That place that you said you probably wouldn't go back, but I may need to try that out.
It's not. I wouldn't recommend you go there.
I feel like it's another place that I've been to like that, but I may need to try that out.
Nah, there's better.
I'm not gonna drop the location because if y'all pull up on me, you will get clapped. No, I'm just playing.
That's a joke.
All right, let's wrap this one up. Thank y'all for watching and listening to the podcast. Mm-hmm. Make sure y'all rate us a 5-star on Apple Podcasts, on Google, Stitcher. Make sure you spread the podcast word of mouth on the aux cord as well. My name is Legend of Winning, aka Low.
We'll catch you guys in the next pod. Cinco, thank you so much for being a part of this. We're gonna have to have you back on, and yes, I'm most definitely gonna take you up on that offer because we're gonna work out together.
We need that, man. But y'all know the deal, man. It's your boy Bobby Cinco. Holla at your boy. I gets money.
All right, man. We'll catch y'all on the next one.
All right, peace.